Team FYN Sports and Johnny's New York Style Pizza here in Jasper proudly presents the Pickens Power Half Hour. It is Dragon Talk. It's Tuesday night. And tonight, folks, we are here with the region champion, Pickens Dragons. How about that? What a big win on Friday night. Of course, Pickens getting it done over Ridgeland, 31-21. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to introduce our guest here, R.J. Casey, my co-host. Were you painted up Friday night? Was he painted up?
Well, he said if we won the region, he was going to come back painted up. But I don't see you doing that, R.J. I mean, you let the people know.
No pain.
Okay, so maybe next week.
Too cold outside.
Maybe next week.
If only there was a Home Depot close by.
Yeah, if only.
Exactly. Actually. Anyway, Chris Parker, again, the head coach of the football Pickens Dragons, and for a little comedy relief tonight, we brought in Dr. Carl Rasco.
Oh,
That's right. Carl Rasco is here tonight as well. We got the Bama boys in the house with us here this evening, and of course, Ellie also joining us. As well, Ellie Parker, family time here tonight. Coach Parker and Ellie, again, I know this time of year, Coach, you don't have a whole lot of time together. So
right.
This is family.
No, actually,
yeah,
actually, it really is. On Tuesday, I get out of practice a little earlier. I leave a little earlier so I can come here and I get Ellie. And probably about the only time during the week I see him very much. So, it's been a great year. Been great to be around the guys. We don't want it to end. We got to keep playing well and get as many weeks as we can. But whenever it is over, hopefully many weeks from now, I will get to spend more time with Ellie. So we want to come to the show to see her.
There we go. Absolutely. We're having a lot of fun, though. We appreciate you guys being on board with us for the next half hour as we talk about the Dragons. And obviously headed to the postseason as the #1 seed. First things first, big ball game against Lafayette coming up. We'll talk about that in our second segment here. But let's talk a little bit about the game on Friday night. Obviously, the Dragons with the win over Ridgeland. That game basically the region championship. And Coach, looking down, the stat sheet. I mean, honestly, a lot of guys pitching in. I know that I sound like a broken record every week, and you've got so many different guys that are contributing week in, week out. Just another great team win.
Yeah, really proud of the guys. I thought it was probably as good a win as we've had, really at any place I've been. And, in part because of what it meant and winning the region championship first time in school history, getting us to 9 wins, getting us a chance this week to compete, to try to be 10-0. But even beyond that, probably was as good of an execution of what we asked the players to do. We knew we had to basically have no kick return yards and punt return yards. We knew our kickoff and our punt teams had to be really good. And, they got no yards. They didn't get 1 yard of punt return or kick return all night. We knew we were going to have to hit on a couple of big plays, a couple of trick plays, because they're really quick on the back end, so it was going to be hard to get big plays. And, we threw a double pass, hit a reverse, and, a pump and go pass. The pump and go and the double pass both went for touchdowns.
Right.
And then we knew, once if we could get the lead on them, we were going to have to find a way to just kind of run the football and be physical inside. We thought our matchups were better there. On the edge and throwing the ball, we just felt like they had a lot of good athletes. It was going to be tough to challenge there. So, we knew we could run it inside. CJ got about 30 carries, which that's usually a half a season for him. But we just kind of knew that was how it was going to have to go. We knew on defense we had to get them to third down, and I think they gained about 400 yards on first and second down. But they were only 1 of 11 on third down for like 15 total yards. Right. So, we knew if we could get them to third down, we had a chance. And so, we know that stuff every week, but we're probably right like 75% of the time. Honestly, our job as a football coach is to be right about 75% of the time. And Friday, it felt more like it was like 90% of the time. Like everything we laid out is kind of exactly how the game went. And so we were prepared. The players were prepared. All the credit goes to them. But we had a good plan, and it was executed really well. So, and just to feel, seeing so many people, but more important than that was just seeing so many people that are part of the program, like RJ and Kyle and some of these guys that have been there a long time and, probably didn't know if they'd ever get a chance to see Pickens, be 9-0, be the region champs, whatever. The excitement that it brought to the whole community for that was really something special.
455 yards of offense, 323 on the ground. For the Dragons on Friday night. Trevon Hawkins, 16 tackles defensively. Certainly a guy that stood out. A lot of guys did in that ball game. Kyle, Coach just said, you've been around a long time. You've been around this Dragon program, Dragon athletics as a whole. I mean, high five, game of the week, team of the week. I mean, all the things that have fallen into place this year. From your perspective, I mean, talk about the excitement of this season. You know, obviously the first year with the turf and the big scoreboard and all stuff, but now, you know, the result is there too with this football team. I mean, it's had to be exciting.
It's a big year for us in a lot of things, like you said, but it just so happens we got it all in 1 year. So next year is just going to be anticlimactic regardless of what happens. But which is, I'm going to ask you a question about that later, RJ. But anyway, no, I mean, 9 wins has always been the white whale of Pickens, and we went a while there. We went 10-40 and in 5-year span, and Coach Parker got here, and you know, we've kind of been chipping away a little bit at a time, and you know, you hope for 9 wins, you hope for a region championship. You know, you always write those things on the board. I know the coaches do, and these guys work hard regardless. I mean, they're there all the time, and you know, he jokes about not seeing Ellie, but I mean, they are always at the field house, and they're always. This stuff doesn't just happen by luck, and you know, seeing these things. I mean, although I've been here a long time, and this is big for me from the community perspective, it means a lot to see, you know, these guys get a win and get this region win and get these, you know, 9 wins, hopefully 10 wins. For these coaches that spend hours upon hours away from their family, you know, for these kids. So I mean, it's just, it was just a big year in so many ways, and still going. Hopefully, keep on going and setting some new records and new bars from here on out.
Yeah, when you win a region championship, you get a light. You finally got a light in here.
Everybody can see me. They didn't know I was this terrible looking. I look a lot better with that dark light, Luther.
Got the face for radio.
But hey, one of the things that's helped us this year, you know, is then that you know, we've been relatively injury free. We did have one game. We had a lot of injuries, but they all were one game injuries mostly. So we've been able to play the whole season with all those same guys you read off every week. And part of that's luck. But part of it is that Kyle's done a good job as our athletic trainer. Does a great job of rehabbing and getting the guys back when they do get banged up. And, you know, it's so many different people that are a part of that win. You know, it's always kind of a I don't know what the word is really, but it's kind of like you feel a little like embarrassed maybe when you're the head coach when something like Friday happens, because, you know, the quarterback and the head coach, so me and CJ get all the credit. How people, you know, the news wants to talk to me, and everybody wants to tell me how good I did. And a lot of people don't realize in football, and in a lot of sports, I'm the athletic director. In a lot of sports, the head coach does 85-90% of everything. There's maybe one assistant, you know. In football, it's just not like that. I mean, we've got a ton of assistant coaches. We got a lot of people that help that aren't necessarily coaching on the field. We got people that are around the program doing things. And so I just represent all of them. You know, but everybody wants to talk to just me. But it was a great win for all those guys, and it was fun for me too. You know, I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed it. But I was really happy for the players and the community and what all that entailed.
Absolutely, a lot of attention, of course, on this Dragon team coming from all over the state and out of Atlanta. That's nice to see, because I know traditionally when you look at decades, you know, it's not always been that way, especially in the quote-unquote mountain area. And I know, RJ, I mean, I know you're pretty excited. I mean, obviously you've been around the program too, you know, being involved with athletics, and now here you are as a sports writer, you know, covering the team. So that'd be pretty special for you as well.
It was really special night, Friday night. It was probably the most proud I've ever been to be a Dragon Friday night, to see the hard work that the coaches and the players put into working to this region championship and getting the win Friday night was really special.
Good time to be a Dragon, and also heard too just a little while ago the cross country team.
Won the region in Tulsa,
I believe, or
the boys won.
Or they won it.
Yeah, we won the region.
So they won it. They won the region, and so. That's awesome. So they'll be heading to the state as well. So a lot of things going on this time of year. That brings us to our Team FYN Sports Writer Player of the Week, and I'm going to turn it over to RJ. I know you know, we've went offense. I mean, you've really done a great job this year. I'm not just blowing smoke. He's done a good job of mixing it up this year. So this week you went with a guy that I really feel like is kind of he's a three-phase player: offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah, I went with senior Caleb Ray. Had a really good game on Friday night. Had 2 back-to-back momentum-building plays on Friday night. First, he blocked a field goal attempt, and then on the next play, CJ found on a pump and go, and he took it all the way to the house for a touchdown. And those 2 plays I think helped carry the team. And a lot of plays helped get that win, but those 2 certainly stood out for me.
And, you know, sometimes it takes that big play in the game early or, you know, to kind of set the tone for the rest of the way. And Caleb definitely had a couple of big plays on Friday night, along with several other guys, too. But, you know, good choice.
Caleb had a good night. Good job. He's been good all year. Trevon Hawkins was going to join us, but he had a family issue. Couldn't be here today, but last minute. But, yeah, Trevon, Caleb, you know, all those guys. You know, and what was great about our team, you know, and Zach was coming with Trevon. He's not here now, but Zach, I wanted Zach here because I wanted him to see. He was the most excited guy out there Friday. I know that shocked y'all. But we didn't hold it. We threw the ball to him a couple times. His job was to a lot of times run guys off and make them double cover him and, you know, do things that allowed other people to run the ball. And Zach was the happiest guy out there at the end of the game, you know. And the reason we've been winning this year is the combination of all of those guys just doing whatever they got to do. So Caleb, you know, has got to go in there and try to block a field goal. We pulled him out to get, you know, he blocked the field goal. Everybody's excited. And, you know, we told him, was like, hey, we need you right here one play. He plays offense too, but we try to move him in and out. So I said, hey, we need you one play, and you can get a couple plays off. He's like, all right. So we ran the play to him, the little Fox play where we pumped the screen and threw it. And then he goes 75 yards or whatever it was. And then he had to go right back on kickoff and right back on defense, you know. And he doesn't complain. He just keeps playing. And we got a bunch of guys like that. You know, it's not just 1 or 2. There's a bunch of them. I feel like most of the time when you have a team that's the region champs, teams I've coached in the past, or just teams you even hear about or play against, there's, you know, 1 or 2 guys that are really standouts,
right?
You know, with big stats. And we really don't have that. I mean, we've got several guys that are really good players on defense, several on offense. You know, the quarterbacks will get a lot of attention, and he deserves it. But he hasn't thrown for 3,000 yards around. You know, he's just, you know, done his job every game. And, you know, it's just one of those years where we just really are a genuine team of trying to get as many people involved as we can.
You know, I got a little eligibility left, Coach. I mean, if you could dress me out, I mean, the excitement down there right now.
I know.
I'm not going to be part of that, you know.
Well, I know, you know, we don't really – we're trying to keep winning. So we're probably going to keep me – we're probably going to keep all of us out of the game. No offense, Kyle.
But, you know, it's just it's awesome to see. I want to thank all of our Team FYN sports sponsors. I want to remind folks of our Facebook Live, of course, but you can also watch the show on demand on fyntv.com throughout the week. And this is the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk here on Tuesday night at Johnny's New York Style Pizza here in Jasper. I also want to thank Pepsi for being our drink sponsor for tonight as well. And coming up in the second segment, we'll have the Mountain Dew RJ Casey question of the week for Coach Parker, maybe even one for Mr. Rasco as well. And I think Kyle's got a couple that he's working on as well for RJ. So that ought to be
don't leave.
So don't go anywhere. I know that we're having a lot of fun here. Again, the Dragons a winner over Ridgeland on Friday night, capturing the school's first ever region championship at 9-0, and they will try to go a perfect 10-0 next this coming Friday against Lafayette in the next segment. We'll talk a little bit about that matchup coming up. Stay with us right here. The Dragon Talk, Pickens Power Half Hour continues on the other side of this break.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
The model year end clearance rolls on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and the discounts on 2018 Chevys are huge. Forget MSRP on America's pickup truck. Save over $13,000 off Silverado Crew Cab LT. Forget MSRP on America's muscle car. Save over $7,000 off Camaro. The model year end discounts are huge, but the 2018 Chevys are going fast. Hurry to Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
And we're back with more of the Pickens Power Half-Hour Dragon Talk right here from New York, from Johnny's New York Style Pizza, not from New York, but from Johnny's New York Style Pizza here in Jasper, Georgia, across the street from the Home Depot, by the way. And we appreciate you guys being on board with us. So, you know, we've got Coach Chris Parker, head football coach of the Pickens Dragons. We've got Kyle Rasco with us and Ellie Parker as well. RJ Casey, my co-host. And before we jump into the game this week against Lafayette, we're going to go ahead and let RJ toss away right here. It's the RJ Casey question of the week.
Let's go, RJ.
Yeah, brought to you by Mountain Dew this week.
That was called.
No, yeah.
You can eat Coach Parker.
So, as we talked about last week in the region championship, as the clock was winding down, everybody was celebrating. We saw you get doused with water, and I want to know, how cold was that?
Well, it's good to know you really put a lot of thought into this week's question.
That's right.
It's been 3 days.
But
RJ just woke up.
You know, it's not that cold when you win the region championship, and you don't really feel much about it, to be honest. It's a little colder about 15 minutes later when you're soaking wet and you've kind of come off of that a little bit, and then I had to go change clothes. But you know, anytime you're fortunate enough to be in that situation, you're just happy to have that opportunity. But you know, that's another one of them times where, you know, I was thinking, until it hit 0, I was just thinking about the next play. I know it's people cliche, but it's actually true. I didn't feel like we won until it was over, even though I know we were up by a couple scores. But you know, when it's over, then you have a brief moment to kind of flash and probably still don't fully understand how much it means to a lot of people, but I really was happy for everybody. It's nice that the players felt like dropping water on my head. I'm sure they did that because they love and care about me and not just to throw water on me. But I'm going to choose to believe that. I know the 2 guys that did it, Macomb and Hunter Hermans, and they've shown nothing but love to me. So, and I have nothing but love back.
A little extra running after practice.
They were lining up to do that. I kind of could see them they were kind of arguing. You know, They all wanted to do that. But honestly, you know, it's a good feeling to have the boys excited about anything we're doing. And, you know, we really do care about them, and they care about us. And we would care about them if we were 4-4 right now, or 4-5, or it has nothing to do with a record. But it is nice when they see it paying off and getting a lot of positive feedback like they're getting now. You know.
Well, Cal, I know you've had a minute to think about it. What do you want to throw on RJ?
I'm not throwing anything crazy. I have 2 questions. Mine's a two-part question.
A two-part question.
Yeah, two-part question. One,
Good luck.
did you lose your razor? Is that what happened? Like you?
I'm lazy,
Okay.
as you can tell.
Was it the question tipped me off first? Your question to Coach Murphy. The second one is okay. So you've been around a while, RJ. You've seen the change that Dave mentioned, the facilities and the change we've had, the scoreboard this year, and the turf. Obviously, 2 big ones. Track got resurfaced.
Yeah.
What do you think is the next big facility improvement that we need to do? Your thoughts. I need your opinion. I'm going to take this to the school board members.
Is everybody?
He's being sarcastic for all of you out there.
No.
The thoughts and opinions of Cal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The disclaimer right there. But that's a good question.
I really do. What do you think should be next?
My thought for the longest time was to have a baseball field at the high school, just so the middle school can have its own field, because it's going from high school to middle school and playing. Well, I love that field at the middle school. I always wanted that baseball field to be right at the high school. Because it's a nice view for games, especially for football games. But you got the sun coming down right over the baseball field. It'd be nice.
That's a good answer, RJ.
Good answer.
I like your answer, RJ. It's not bad.
Did you set him up?
No, I did not. Yeah.
Sounds like there's something going on there. So
No.
But anyway.
But thank you for RJ Casey Field. He did say something about.
I did do that. I'll do it. Yes.
I do think, you know, get us back on an actual topic. I do think you know, people come to the game now and they see the field and they see the facilities, and you know, it's an immediate change. You know, you were here. If you hadn't been there and you go for the first time, you're like, wow, this is something. You know, sometimes the football team looks like that too. Like we were just okay and now we're really good. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, the facilities and the team and everything happen at a very slow pace, and they take a long time to build. And these guys included, and me, and you know, all of us have worked really hard for 7 years to build things. And sometimes you don't see it until that one time you're like, wow, look at that. But all that stuff's been a kind of a metaphor for our whole team. I think a lot of people showed up and, you know, were impressed with what the place looked like and how the team was playing. But that's all been building for years. It didn't just happen. And I'll tell you what, I know, you know, I'm going to get in a political debate here at all, but I was really pleased with how just how impressed that our visitors have been all year. Our guest coaches, but the officials, some of the fans that we've interacted with, when we've seen Fox 5 or whoever, you know, they're like, it's a beautiful facility. You know, our board, our superintendent, our principals, all of them have done a great job supporting us and giving us the best place possible to play. Our players worked hard to give us the best team they can put out there for you guys. And it takes all that. So, I mean, I'm proud that we've gotten all that stuff done, you know. And it does show a commitment, and it does pay off. But, you know, now we got to turn our attention to this 10th game.
Right.
And it is a challenge because the kids were so excited about winning Friday, and they should have been. We wanted them to be. But then we had to come in Monday and say, look, that was great, but we're going to play on Friday, and we're going to start with 0 points. And the other team's going to start with 0 points, and the other team is 4-4. They're not 0-8 like they've been a couple of years before when we played them. They're better. They've done a good coach, done a good job there. They got a new coach. They're excited. Like the best way to make their season would be to come in and beat us. You know, they were off last week. We're sitting there celebrating. You know, they've been practicing for Pickens for 2 weeks. So we need to come in and play. So I mean, I'm excited to see how we accept that challenge Friday. I think it'll say a lot about our team either way.
Sure.
How we come out and play on Friday.
Absolutely. Johnny's New York style pizza, again, to the victors go the spoils, and we do want to mention that Johnny's does feed our players and coaches, and so these guys, I think, if you eat, hopefully they have, you taken advantage of that. And speaking of Lafayette, I mean, is it safe to say that this is their playoff? I mean, obviously they're 4-4, so they would love nothing more than to spoil the Dragons' perfect season. What kind of challenges do those guys throw at you? Because as you said, I mean, they played a lot of close games this year.
Right.
This is definitely not the old Lafayette that we saw, over the last several years. I mean, they're a much improved team.
Yeah, they've got a lot of seniors. They're pretty athletic. The guys does a pretty good job on offensive defense scheme wise. They do a lot of different things, and it's stuff you don't see every week. And so you got to come in and go to work. But I mean, the biggest enemy of us this week is us. I mean, that's not a knock on Lafayette. They got a good football team, but we have to worry about us. We have to be ready to play. We have to play with a high level of intensity. We went into the last 3 times I've come to Johnny's here to do the show with you. We played Heritage, Northwest, and Ridgeland, who are 3 teams that we struggled with for our last year or two, and our kids have made a commitment to beat. But now we've got to continue that. It doesn't matter who the team is.
Right.
You just play hard every week. And I'm proud that we've done that for 9 games. And the pitch has been, can we do that all 10? Can it be in a regular season anyway, a perfect season where we didn't slip up all year? That's going to be a challenge. And, Lafayette actually has the stuff in place to beat you. They're not a bad football team. They played most of the games close to they even lost. And, they have been a team that gave Northwest some problems, that gave Heritage some problems. And also, we would expect to be in a tough game Friday. I mean, we expect to be tough, but I expect our players to come out and play just as hard as we have in the first 9 games.
Right. Kyle, what's the most impressive thing that you feel like, I mean, and we talk about a lot week in, week out with Coach as far as even the guys that came before, these guys, and I guess, when he came here, the players were 7th grade, I guess. You're talking about some of the Zach Gosses and some of those guys are now seniors and kind of coming through the program. But what's the difference, I guess, with this team, this particular, year and as a whole? I mean, what would you attribute the success to, and how is this team special and maybe different from some of those other ones before?
We were talking about this at practice today, actually, but these guys just don't get down. And I've seen it, not necessarily at Pickens, but just working around athletics my whole life. Seen a lot of guys and girls for that matter, that when they get behind or something doesn't go their way, they start to panic, or they start to argue, or they start to bicker and put their head down and start giving up. And this team just doesn't do that. They have fun. They're having a lot of fun. That's the other thing. They're just having fun. I don't know if we were 0-9 if it'd be the same, but it's almost hard to believe that they wouldn't be having a good time. They just seem to be having a good time. The intensity is the exact same as it was on the first day of practice. That's the kids. I mean, the coaches have a lot to do with that too. But I mean, you can have good coaches and have kids with bad attitudes, or with that defeatist attitude. These kids just don't have it. And I love being around these kids. I know the coaches do too. It's just been a lot of fun. So I mean, it's just different that way in regards to their attitude. So, like I said, they just come to work every day. They're having a good time while they're out there doing all the hard stuff, and you just want to be around that a lot more.
Right. And speaking of 7th grade, the Dragons winning the middle school title this year, so the future looks bright. It appears that you guys have built a program, not just a team. And I know that's kind of the whole idea behind what you guys have done, and so things are obviously headed in the right direction.
Right.
So.
We're happy with it, and that'll get us 0 points Friday. So we got to start over. I mean, sports now are so competitive in any level, even at 7th grade. They're very competitive, even on Ellie's age team. So you have to have a mindset to prepare and to get better, and you got to handle adversity like Kyle was talking about, but you got to handle success too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's equally as difficult to handle good and bad times. So we got a little success now. We're going to be the region champs whether we win or lose on Friday, but that doesn't mean much to maybe some people. if we're going to be the champs either way, but it's going to matter to us if we lose on Friday. It's going to matter to us. It might not matter to those standings, but we're going to go compete. And that's how we got here, just one day at a time. And we try to bring different people every week. But Kyle's been with us. He's been here longer than I have, but he's been with me since the first day. And he can probably tell you as much as anybody that we just try to do a little bit every day and get a little better every day, and all that stuff just seems to kind of fall in place. And this year particularly, it has seemed to all kind of work out, and it's nice when that happens. But I told the guys today, I said, somebody told me, Coach Parker, really, you've done a good job getting these boys ready to play in every game. And I said, well, if I was doing a good job getting them ready to play every game, they ought to fire me. And they said, huh? I said, because I should have been telling them that last year and the year before and the year before. I've been telling them the same stuff every week that I've said every game that I've coached in for the last however many years. And they've done an excellent job of actually taking that and listening and running with it. And that's been the difference in the team. I wish I could tell you we had some magic words that we told them this year that made them listen or care more or overcome adversity. But we've been saying that stuff for 17 years. They just and it's paid, and it's just kind of like Kirby Smart talked about chopping wood. It's saying we just kind of chopping wood, just getting better. And this week's got to be no different. Got to be a big test for us. See if we can continue that even when the game is not for the region championship.
Absolutely. Dragons again on the road against Lafayette on Friday night. Final regular season ball game, 7:30 kickoff. Encourage all the Dragon fans to make the trip north and cheer on the Dragons as they look to go 10-0 on the season. We're about out of time this week. We do want to thank all the folks at Johnny's New York Style Pizza. Also want to thank all of our guests and, of course, Pepsi for being on board as a drink sponsor. And Luther Kinsey behind the controls here tonight as our producer director. I want to remind folks that you can catch Luther and myself on Monday mornings on the instant replay at 10 a.m., 10 to 11, right here on FYNTV.com. Appreciate you guys for being in. Congratulations on a great season. Still not done yet. Good luck Friday night. We'll be rooting for you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, RJ, any parting words?
Go Dragons.
There we go. All right, we'll see you guys. We'll see you next week right here. New York Style, Johnny's New York Style Pizza here in Jasper. Thank you guys for being with us. You've been watching the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com.